Hey, good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about why done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. Patrick Allmond, you got to tell me, why is that the case, my man?
That's the case because, man, Phil, we are working way too hard to try to just be perfect about everything. And if there's one life lesson I could go back and give my better intro, I would say about 11 or 12, just go back and tell myself, you will never be a perfect athlete or a perfect computer geek or a perfect boyfriend or a perfect husband, and try to do better tomorrow. So every single day, I don't have a bracelet on, but every single day, done is better than perfect mindset, man.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that. So, who told you that, Patrick, or did you just figure that out on your own?
I think it's probably just a combination of the years, and I really like to simplify the stuff I do. I mean, there are plenty of that will basically take the human psyche and break it down into the 255 steps what we do. And I just need simple things, like no more than 2 or 3 words. Done is better than doing nothing. These are the things that are the basis of what I do every single day, and I'm sure we will. But for the most part, kiss it, baby. Just keep it simple, silly.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, speaking about not being perfect, your sound is kind of fading in and out again, so maybe we'll play with that a little bit. But it's
Okay.
always interesting when I get to talk to you about mindset, because that's one of the things that I like most about you, Patrick. I mean, there's a lot of things, man. You're a computer geek like me. You're a speaker like me, right? You like marketing like me, but your mindset, man, is always so
Yep.
strong. So, how did you get started kind of focusing on your mindset?
Oh, the things I really heard. I heard Russell Brunson say this the other day. He said that he wishes, like at the beginning, I can start documenting everything, like from the beginning of his self-improvement journey. When I heard him, like, a good idea. I should have done that also 20 or 30 or 40. The number of years ago really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's just experience. How old Patrick is doesn't matter at all. But I think, like a lot of ways, I got to this mindset or this belief system or this from living the opposite for a while. I remember working over, I kind of cut my IT data center, which is like a couple of miles from me. Like all car rentals in the world happen like from me. That's when I got out of the military and I went over there, and it hurts. And I worked with some people that just work. Sometimes they could not be very motivated. It were people in a company that did the bare minimum. This is happy. And I really did adopt that attitude for a while. I dealt with programmers and treated them as like annoyances. Like, yeah, I'm a tech support programmer. If you have a problem, you know what? Please try not to talk to me at all. Try not to bother me. I'm busy doing my own thing. And I really did have that mindset. And there were some managers and stuff that I remember pointed it out there, and they would, be mindset. And a manager would say, look, this is why we don't want to deal with Patrick right here. Look, to have someone actually say that to your face is, kind of hurtful and kind of painful, but it can also be a wake up call. I decided to flip my attitude around and more of a can do, and what can I do to make everyone's life better kind of attitude. It helped me with my career. I mean, a lot changed in my life when I did that. It helped me with my careers and earlier promotions, and eventually that mindset of being a better person, but is what led me to leave that in 19. See, where are we right now? I think I decided I didn't want any more of that. I wanted more things. I wanted bigger things in life. So about 1998, into me starting my own business right there, and you've been there yourself, sir. That's the
Yeah, for sure. So that's interesting. So 98, huh? So that's about 25 years you've been thinking about it. How do you did it just kind of flip for you, Patrick, do you think?
mm-hmm.
Was it when that person said it to your face that like that was the catalyst for making it better, or did it just kind of gradually happen?
I wouldn't say this, but as we go through life, there are just certain milestones that stick out, and this one happened to me over about it. So it must have left an imprint. It must have really made a difference when someone says, we don't like this guy. This is why we don't want to work with that. And so I would say probably from all things, be it things about my health, about the way I communicate with people, about it versus leave me the heck alone attitude, about being the guy that knows the most. So I can, in my life, I really try to be the most helpful guy in the room. They always talk about don't be the smartest in the smartest in any given room, but I sure as heck want to be the most useful or the most helpful, which is different room. Whenever I take on a new client, for those who don't know, I run a marketing agency, and whenever I take on a lot of tech issues, I try to basically make that person feel comfortable that I'm going to learn everything. So if they have any questions, they know the guy that has the answer. So that's what we were talking about. But I'd say small things about wanting to be the smartest, wanting to be the person who has helpful, or the person that people didn't feel afraid approaching. And I've noticed that over the years is that people oftentimes say that, well, Patrick, you're approachable. So a lot in our world of tech and geeky stuff, failure geeks are not approachable. We're not really empathy. I'm not going to say my empathy is great, but a lot of the people in our world of technology, social, put us in a closet with a PHP book and we just don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that has mediocre tech that people feel they can come to and say, Patrick will teach me what I need to know, and I'm not afraid to. There's different mindsets of kind of trying to stay, the person I wanted to be, I think is what controlled my, that's eventually how I got to this phrase, stop doing nothing, as I don't know the exact history, but I was probably sorry for myself about the things I wanted and didn't have, like health and money, just not much. And that one day, this phrase probably just popped in my head and said, what's the solution to every single problem out there? And it's almost always action, aka talk about audio problems, sit there and bang my mic around. I got the license plate ACTION. So here in Oklahoma, my license plate is ACTION as a result of stuff. That's a long answer to a short question, but I think it's just a lot of minor things in life. Anger and frustration yourself. And I can definitely tell you those have been motivators for me.
Wow. Lots there that we can talk about. So let's start first with the stop doing nothing, right? Which if we think about that is that's a great catchphrase. That's a great way to think about things. So do something, right? Stop doing nothing. So at what point though do you realize that maybe it is time to pause and move forward? Is that align at all with your stuff? Or tell me more about the whole stop doing nothing, Patrick.
Again, I just really wish I could remember the lessons I picked up from different people in the world. At some point, that when there's a problem or a wish or a want or a desire, that the one of the worst things we can do is just not act. It's the simple stuff. If we think about our humanity, if you're walking down the street and you see a hungry kid, you can have a choice to walk by the poor kid, or you can have a choice. Food. It's a really simple gesture. Give that person food, you will feel better. That person will feel. It's a very minor thing. It was a very minor act to hand a kid a McDonald's cheeseburger. Apply that to business, and you apply that to your health. And in that I run through in my history, when I started taking action on something, it may not have been done as better than perfect, but it was the fact that I was making movement of some sort. Number two, change my attitude, and number three, actually, situation I was in. And you and I are both kind of gym rats or fitness rats now. I don't that way now, but even the simple act of, for example, my wife gets up and walks a little bit. She's not going to the gym doing a lot of stuff like I am, but her health is getting better just from doing laps around the lake storm in Oklahoma. And if I can't make it to the gym, I'm going to walk around the block. So little, I would say, lead to big, giant changes. And that's where I think stop doing nothing is I was making all these changes and transformations. And then I just realized I just take a walk, take a step. Stand up one day, take a step. That is, your one step is a better life and a better fitness. In my business, I go out and I network. Event. I don't have to keynote for 20,000 people, but me going to a simple event with may end up me talking to one person who could financially transform my business as a result. So steps I'd say, Phil, are over time I learned that if I'm stuck, need more money, gain a couple of pounds, maybe go and walk around the block a couple of times. That action steps, I think, is where eventually led me to realize that stop doing nothing is the solution to just about. Sorry, that was a long answer. I can get long-winded sometimes, man.
No, that's good. No, that's good, right? Because we wanted to talk about mindset, right? And how that matters and how we can do that. And I think that is helpful, right? Do something. I love that, right? There's not a specific, ABC that you do. It's just something, right? Don't do nothing. Take an action. I think that's super powerful, Patrick, and a super great way that everyone can actually do something about, right? Because, you might be taller than me or be able to lift more than me or run faster than me, but I can still do something, right? I don't have to do nothing. And I think that's encouraging.
Yeah. If you ever go look at some of the NBA, they have some of the dunk contests, and not correct in the day, like the 90s and 80s, there were some amazing dunkers that were not the tallest. I can't think of the names I heard the other day, but this just came to mind when you were talking about if you're
Spud Webb. Yeah,
thank you. That was one of the things that was mentioned. And you're right. If you're short in the NBA player, I'm 6'2", and when the Oklahoma City Thunder was here, I went through their roster and everybody was taller than 6'2", except for Russell Westbrook. And you know what? I'm pretty sure when I say anything about basketball, that guy is a monster, but he's only like 6'1", 6'2". He's my machine. So you're right. You work with the gifts you have. And something else came to mind also. We're not in the tips yet, but I was just looking down at my coffee cup here, and we're meant to surround yourself with things to constantly remind you of this. And I was remembering that my done some of our past discussions. I'm a big coffee and motivation person right there, and that's my daughter got me right there. And that was right
Love
here
that, yeah.
under my monitor. Yeah. Our common buddy, Chris Kowalik, she bought me a different one the other day. So like the entire coffee and motivation line of coffee cups right there. But I have these daily reminders in front of me. I mean, even on my phone, Phil. I mean, my phone has the back. I keep these small reminders because just because it back into bad habits and bad ways of dealing with things. So I try to keep these little micro reminders. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but
I don't think so. I think I think, again, you said a couple things there. The working with the gifts you have, I think, is a super great reminder, right? Whatever gift you have, maximize it. Do the most that you can. And then secondly, put things around you that motivate you, that inspire you, that remind you to take some action, to do, or maybe it's even your why, right? Like I can tell you, I've got here, right? I've got my mouse pad. I've got a picture of my wife and my kids because this is my why, right? That's
exactly.
My why.
Keep it in front of your face.
Yeah. So, so wherever that is, and even in my wallet, right? This is old school, but I've always got a picture of my kids in my wallet. And my background, right, is my wife right now. Right. So my wife it's my reminder, right?
Uh-huh.
So, but it's the same thing. And I think that's super important. Right. It's not a big thing, but it's a little thing that makes a big difference. And I think that's a lot of what you teach as well, huh, Patrick?
And I just didn't realize how much I did this until I'm sitting here listening to you talk. and I'm looking. So here's my laptop. I've got my whole geeky setup right here, and I'm looking at my MacBook. I forgot that my background on my MacBook Pro is a place I want to visit someday. It's coast of Los Angeles. There is there's an airport. Like you can leave like the set and fly to Catalina Island, which is like a half-hour flight away, and land assessed on my bucket list, and that's my motivation. So now when I go out to California, I'm always looking for chances to Catalina Island. It's just one of those things that I forgot. You know, you get in this habit of putting these reminders around you, doing it, but subconsciously, I think they're reminding you, oh, this backdrop is reminding me, I got to find a reason to Barbara or the Santa Monica area where I grew up and rent that darn plane and get that. Stop doing nothing is going to kick in here. I'm going to find a business reason to go out there, or my lap. I'm going to put all the plans in place, and then I will rent a plane. I'll go there and I'll mark that off chuck it in the bucket, right? I'll mark it off the bucket list. So after a while, you just it's coming, and I think that's just a really good, habit or discipline to get into. I heard someone always have motivation is fleeting. Motivation comes and goes. It's just create the habits that we need, and so the discipline of looking at something every single day, or use the right coffee cups every single day. Almost all my coffee cups have something on them that NSA Texas, who has some common friends of ours. I've got a big giant NSA Texas coffee cup of your own life, and that's my big giant coffee cup. This is my smaller coffee cup right here. The posters you have around you, I've got to stop doing nothing thing over there. And if you look at the background, that's why they were saying done is better than perfect. I forgot, Phil. I was not kidding. I forgot that was back there. I took there, but people see it in my videos now. I think about it. And why is Phil talking about done is right there behind me? I found this neon sign on Amazon, something that you can barely. You know what? Let's get this. This is one of my favorite. This is an image of a person forging themselves, and I found that on eBay or on Amazon. This is an image of someone. This is the changing yourself and forging yourself into a new person. But I'm just very lucky. I'm going to talk about here, but I'm just very lucky to have all these reminders I put around me, and they're just subconscious action on a regular basis, or I'm going to stagnate and fall the attitude again, dude. Can't have that.
No, well, with that though, there's two reminders there that make me think, and one is the subconscious, which I think certainly is powerful, right? It works even when we're not thinking about it. But I think also we have to pause sometimes, like you're doing now, and look around and say, okay, why is this here? Why is this picture here? Why is this thing here? Why do I think about this, right? And we have to bring that to the front again, because otherwise it just becomes background noise. Like, remember in the old days, Patrick, when banner ads were sold, right? We get banner blind, right, on websites and stuff. It's the same way with motivation. If we don't bring it forward, right? If we don't focus on that mindset, if we don't think about why we're doing things and, what is this? Well, perhaps we can slide from that.
Yep, exactly. And I do have to change things on occasion. If things get a little bit stagnant or a little bit in my office, sometimes to have like the mental energy to even work, I have to chill. If we sit at home too much, working from a home office, man, it's convenient. It's for shame to walk the 20 feet to your home office. But for me, I've noticed that my energy will stagnate if I sit in the same place too long. So one of the things I did is, number one, this is so simple thing: stand up for a while, get the energy going, get the blood flowing. But I'll grab my lap co-working space. I'm trying to do that now once or twice a week, just to change my environment. And it's a minor thing. It takes me more time and more money to hop in a car and go grab some coffee. But once I get there, I'm around other motivated people, usually entrepreneurs who are doing that. Energy feeds me. So we're talking about an environment. It's not only the physical things around you, but we both know that there's plenty of brilliant people in NSA, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get back here in July at the NSA conference because there's a bunch of smart people there, and I've also learned how to run my life and my business from some of those people. So, in environment, like you pointed out, you got to change it sometimes. You got to change the things around you if they're not serving you. If surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. Don't surround level or who are at a level that you've graduated from. Surround yourself with people. I'm not doing very well right now, but doing things like getting back to NSA is going to help me with that. NSA, there are plenty of rooms there where I'm doing pretty well business wise, but I know I'm going to be the most broke ass person in the room, even though I'm not hurting for money, because those people are doing so much to learn from them. I need to learn from the Mark Hunters of the world and the Mary Kelly I want to be around. So environment matters heavily.
Yeah, not to your point, right? Not just the surroundings, but the people as well. Finding those people that we can learn from, that we can learn with, that we can ask questions of, also that we can pour into as well, because we all have different gifts. That gets back to your point about working with the gifts you have. So Patrick, do you take any assessments or anything to find out what you're good at, or is it just kind of trial and error? Or is it what you love? I mean, how do you find that out, man? How do you get that mindset right to work with those gifts?
Good question. No one's ever asked me that question. I'm not a big fan of or things like that. I'm just not a big fan of tests in general. Just discovering what I'm good at, and not only what I'm good at, but there's the whole Venn diagram of what do you want to do. There are plenty of things I'm good at that I just don't want to do. I cannot stand accounting. I never want to see an install of QuickBooks in my life. Never saw QuickBooks ever again. So I think it's a lot of trial and error with me. Example, because I see you do some amazing things. And my Apple Watch, for those of you that know, Phil and I are one guy that's always out doing me in the circles. That's always going to be Phil. In the morning, I'm like, oh wow, it's like Phil has completed 2 times his rings at 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's use fitness for example. I've gone in and out of CrossFit, for example, over the years. I'm decent at it, but as I get a little bit older, it's harder. So I've had to kind of I'm good at. And one of the things I'm good at that I like doing is rucking. I 15, 20 pounds on my back, and I'll go walk 10 miles. If I'm walking and not jogging and not running, limit before I fall over. But I'm good at it. It lets me put on some audio books and think about 3 hours has happened, and I'm done with my ruck. And it's time for donuts, obviously afterwards. That's what you. But yeah, I'd say it's to answer your question, a lot of experimenting. I can again talking about the fitness example. I belong, and I'm gonna probably go there tonight after work, and there's plenty of machines there, plenty of different aerobic, and there's some I found that I'm really good at that I like doing that can help me, and there are some machines I'll never they don't serve my goal there. So yeah, a lot of trial and error. How I learn that stuff's all trial and error. I've learned, for example, that it's hard for me to decide where there we go. I'm pointing. That's Groot. So behind Groot are the books right there. I like books, and I like opening them up and reading a chapter or two. I am not really good at taking these are like Russell Brunson's books right there. I'm not good at taking like a giant, 2,000 and reading that. There are some people that are. I am not. I take one of these books with me to the living room, a chapter or two. But for me, reading an entire book from beginning to end is just mine, and I avoid it. So I do audio books. I do YouTube videos. I'll pull up a chapter or two. That's how same thing when it comes to speaking, because we're connected with public speaking. The way I present has changed in the typical, Toastmasters way, with a perfect beginning, talk about it, and then just talk about what you just talked about and do your closing. That's the Toastmasters model. That does not serve me. So I've had to experiment and learn and change that also. So for me, Phil, it's just a lot of
Cool. I like to trial and error too. I also do like to take a few assessments to find
hmm
things out that maybe I don't know, or maybe to confirm, like, why do I think that way, or why does that happen? So,
right.
so that's nice, or to give me some words to use because, like you, right, a lot of it's to the point, right, trial and error. But I like to give words to it so I can share it with other people. That's important to me. So, because
What
people,
tests?
you know.
Yeah. What test do you like? I'm out of curiosity. What test? What
So the
serves you very
Strengths
well?
Finder is a big one for me. So
Okay.
Strengths Finder through Gallup, I really like that one. I've taken Sally Hogshead's her How to Fascinate assessment is super
Oh, cool.
interesting
Okay.
to give you some different archetypes, right? It gives you again just a language to put around things. And
Right.
often there's a couple of words in there that resonate. I can use that in my branding. I can use that, in my bio, stuff like that. So for me, that's where I use it. Now, do I think that they're 100% accurate? I don't know that that's true of anything. I'm not 100% accurate. Why the heck would an assessment be, right? So that's
Right.
what I think anyway. But yeah, StrengthsFinder is probably the longest served one that I
Okay.
have, and it's interesting because it says that Buckingham and Gallup believe that the strengths that we have they get stronger. But I will say that, like in my top 10, they've moved a little bit. I think as I get a little bit older,
Hmm.
a little more experienced, I think that things do shift. But my biggest one is always woo, win others over, which is it's a good one because like right now
Right.
my leader he's more. I strategic is like number two, but his number one with a bullet is strategic, and mine is woo.
Right.
And so together, right, we're able to make some magic happen. So it helps us, explain things, and that really works well for me. So, but yeah, if you don't like them, I don't blame you. I mean, you don't have to do them. I don't
It's
think there's anything wrong.
yeah. Yeah. This time, I feel if I take like I've taken like a Myers Briggs before, I've taken it like 2 or 3 times every time. So sometimes I wonder if it's just the mood I'm in or the motivation I have. Results. I really wish that there was a test that could just someone like in the matrix could just stab some, figure out what the heck makes me tick, and just put it on a chart for me so I could figure it
Right?
out. So I don't have to think about how I am and filter it through my test taking. The test taking part of my brain, which is the test taking part of my brain's not very good.
I hear you. So let's go back to your donut talk, Patrick. What do you like on your donut?
Yes. Um, if it's a non-cream filled donut, like it's a regular glazed donut, because I can go through a lot of them. So like if I want 5 or 6 donuts, and I'll get just a simple white glazed donut, maybe some chocolate on it. If I'm gonna go doing a ruck, what is today's Thursday? I'm planning on doing a ruck 2 days from now. I'm gonna strap up miles or so, and I'm gonna end up at a Hertz. We have a place here called Hertz Donut,
Oh yeah,
HURTS. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna end my ruck. I'm gonna try to end my ruck at the Hertz Donut place. I'm gonna get like something that's stuffed, something that where you like bite into it, like leaves them. It's really weird that I'm thinking this heavily about a donut like 2 or 3 days away. But I love. I'll say, and I may be weird here, is that I always have to have either a glass or some kind of hot fluid like tea or coffee. So now thinking like Saturday after I go do this ruck, I'll end right around the corner from where my car will be. Maybe I can get like my trophy for the end is a nice big giant and a big cup of black coffee, and I'll drink that. I'll walk back to the car. I'll turn off the Apple Watch, and I'll call it a day. But yeah, it's I'd say either a really good single stuffed one, 5 or 6 light ones that have no stuff, and the same kind of cup of coffee. Same when I have cookies. If I have Oreos or Chips Ahoy or whatever, I've got to it just balances there in my mouth. How about yourself? What's your favorite donut?
Oh, well, so for a kind of a basic, I just like a Boston cream. I like the custard inside. I like the chocolate. it's cakey, but not too cakey. You know, Dunkin' Donuts
Right.
does a great job for me there if I'm doing that. But if I'm going fancy,
Yep.
I like a fruit. So I like a cherry Danish or a cherry turnover or something like that. That's a little more fruity. Or you know, Voodoo Donuts has got some crazy mixed up stuff like Hertz Donut does. So I'll make it a game time decision. Typically, it needs to be like a cake base with some maybe some
Yeah.
chocolate or some sweets, and then something else. You know, I don't mind. I can eat it with just about anything. Back in Milwaukee, I'd eat it at Holy Moly, and yeah, I like donuts too, but not too many.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll usually do it. Disclaimer: I am not a fitness coach. I never know when to eat the calories, like right before I exercise, or I should go to Hertz Donut like before I burn all those calories. Like maybe that's my thought. I was just thinking about that. That would make more sense than piling on after. But if I do that, what's the 6 or 8 miles Saturday? I got to figure this out. These are the really hard decisions, and it's going to eat me up, literally and figuratively, Saturday morning when I go out there. Do I have the donut after, or do I have it both? I could just cover my bases, Phil, and have it both before and after.
There you go. There you go. See, now we've solved all the world's problems, Patrick. So that's all we need. That's good. So that's a pretty good place to kind of bring us home here. But let's get back motivated, Patrick. How do we get started
Right.
getting our brains on straight, getting a mindset for success?
I would say talking about the stop doing nothing mantra and the done is find an area in your life where you are really not being discontent, being angry, being upset. I've actually put out some on Instagram. Sorry, I lost my mind there for a second. Reels recently on Instagram about this is sometimes our negative emotions are good motivators to make change. So whether it's taking care of your or making more money, find some micro steps that you can do to see some I'm big into the software marketing business like you are, and one of the complete courses is gamification. And you know what? You can carry that gamification into small rewards. I don't know about anybody else, but someone reminded me recently. I used to get those silver stars in the refrigerator when I was a kid for my accomplishments. Find a way to gamify yourself to with a donut for going out and doing a 1-mile walk around your neighborhood. You don't have to join a gym for that. Some shoes, walk around your block a couple of times, and bam, you've knocked out a mile. And then celebrate that by a giant gold star and say, that's awesome. Tomorrow, let's make it a mile. Up there and do like a David Goggins and try to start running when you're overweight. Try to start putting in. That guy is a beast. But just I would say go for micro wins and small celebrations. And something else I've noticed in this world, which is really cool, things, and you can share them in your household. You can share them with friends, or you can share them online. That people like to cheer you on, and they like seeing your accomplishments, and virtually or in person. I mean, I'm sorry, a Facebook like is a little, but every now and then you what I've learned also accidentally motivate somebody else. So if I go out there and walk a mile and I come back and I post it on, it's very possible that somebody else who thought they couldn't do it or is having some challenges may get up and me. There's plenty of times I post things online, Phil, that I get like a private message saying, thanks, sought out a gym membership, or I read this book, or I did this thing there, and it's very rewarding to hear that I was able to change someone's life like that. So that's my answer right there. Size on me there, you freaked me out. Okay. But just to get some small wins, man. Get some small wins. Clothes I didn't fit before. I bought smaller sizes of clothes that didn't fit before because I knew, because my goal was that one works. You want a small win in your diet? Open up your refrigerator. a quick one. Here's a very quick one since I love my fitness stuff. If you're watching Phil's broadcast relating to the fact that we're talking about fitness and you want to change things, cast right now, pause the live stream and walk into your refrigerator or walk into your cabinet that are very tasty and dump them. I dare you to make that kind of commitment. Got a 2-liter thing of soda. You know what? Open it up, pour it down the sink. I dare you. If you do that for the day, I mean, I love soda as much as anybody, but if you're someone who's addicted to the Dr. Pepper, because I know some people are, that can be a small win, a small commitment, and then take it from there. Maybe, you know what? Throw away half of them, only eat the other half. I know this sounds really weird, but just fall into the same habits and that have gotten you to where you are. There's tons of books on breaking your habits. I'm not the first one to say it. We all know that breaking your habits and starting new habits in the world is a difference. So that's what I'd say is just find something small today as a result of watching Phil and I find something win, count it as a win, and post about it on Facebook or share it with a friend in person. And with me, and I will cheer you and I will make a video congratulating you if you go to your house and you pour out today to save yourself from consuming those calories. That's my commitment to anybody who's watching Phil and I, and personally make you a video congratulating you.
Awesome. Love that. Starting small, getting some small wins and stacking them up, I think is a great way. And I would just encourage folks, if you're listening to Patrick, also stop doing nothing. If you want to get more from Patrick, go to stopdoingnothing.com. Get to know my friend Patrick Allmond. He's always got great insight. He helps me with my mindset for success. I'm always appreciative of the time that we spend, and I always learn a lot from you. Patrick, thanks so much, my friend. I really appreciate you, buddy.
My pleasure. I always
Great
enjoy
to see
having you on. All right. Now, I didn't have you on. You had me on this in, what is it, July? Where is it? July. End of July. I'll find a second. We're looking like the 3rd or 4th week of July. You're still pretty much in the Orlando area, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll see you for sure. I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Oh, okay. Good stuff. Well, hopefully before then, but if watching, make sure you subscribe to Phil's stuff and my stuff, and follow up with, and I'll cheer you from afar.
Absolutely. And I'll cheer for you too, friends. Start small, stack your wins, and stop